Alright, dude on your right. Dude on your right. Dude, he's shooting at you. Shoot him. Dude, what are you doing, bro? Just shoot him, bro. Dude, you're garbage, bro.
Hey, do you ever have an issue with low self-confidence, low self-esteem, plain out defeat? Well, look no further than the simplicity of just not caring. For just $0 down, you can feel invincible too, just like me. All it takes is just one step. Simply, stop caring.
Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Or is it? How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate the support on the last video. Hopefully we can keep it rolling moving forward. I'd really love it. But today we're going to be talking about how to become invincible. Now, you're probably asking yourself, that's impossible. How could I? Well, I've got answers. I really do. To start, we're going to talk about a man named Albert Camus. He was a French philosopher, very talented, knowledgeable man, obviously. He's actually the second ever person to win a Nobel Prize. That was back in 1957. Unfortunately, I didn't check to see if that still holds, but nonetheless, it shows that Albert was a pretty outstanding guy. Albert's what we call an absurdist, meaning they kind of look at life as this absurd thing that doesn't really make much sense. It has no meaning. Kind of deals back with my nihilism video. There's actually a lot of absurdist sort of takes in there.
There's a book I recommend people read is by Albert Camus called The Plague that he wrote right after World War II. Is I don't know if you know if he is. He's like an existentialist philosopher. Existentialists believe that you have to live like life is absurd, life is suffering, and there's no meaning to it all. You just have to live the moment and take each moment as it comes and live it to the fullest kind of idea.
Pretty much absurdists, like in his work, The Myth of Sisyphus, they accept life for what it is and they try to make the most out of it. In The Myth of Sisyphus, Sisyphus is this fictional character who is punished by, I believe, the gods to roll a rock up a hill all day. But the thing is, he can never finish the task. So for all of eternity, Sisyphus has to roll the rock up the hill. And like an absurdist would, Sisyphus accepts this situation and he decides, you know what, I can't do anything about this, so I'm just gonna roll the rock up the hill, inevitably, as best as I can. Unfortunately, although I'd love to, we're not dealing with any of Camus' works here. We're dealing with a quote of his. It's one that, as soon as I saw it, it stuck with me quite a bit, and I instantly had a video that I hope is helpful for you. And yeah.
Dans toutes les circonstances de sa vie, obscures ou provisoirement célèbres, jeté dans les fers de la tyrannie ou libre pour un temps de s'exprimer, l'écrivain peut retrouver le sentiment d'une communauté vivante qui le justifiera à la seule condition qu'il accepte, autant qu'il peut, les deux charges qui font la grandeur de son métier, le service de la vérité et celui de la liberté.
The quote is, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Now that's pretty powerful for someone like me who deals with some negative thoughts time to time, hence my nihilism video. It's very reassuring when I'm going throughout, like the mundane portions of my day, and I think to myself, I can actively rebel within my mind at this moment. When I'm driving my car, it's not like I'm gonna swerve out and into a field and start off-roading, but I can just jam out. I can do whatever I want, and that's a rebellion. What does it really mean to act as a rebel, though? I said I'm not gonna swerve out into the off-road and start just absolutely going nuts. But a rebellion is just going against the norm. It's being authentic because the norm is not authenticity. And we we have, luckily, a great example of what I think Albert Camus' perfect rebel sort of would be. Fortunately, they're no longer with us, but we have a great deal of stuff on the man. And his name is Jim Morrison.
Jim, application.
So Jim came from a pretty normal family. His father was in the military, and he went to UCLA. But that kind of goes to show that perhaps that was involved in his rebellious life, you know, breaking away from that normal livelihood. Furthermore, Jim is a part of the 27 Club, very infamously. Unfortunately passed away. We're not sure why. It was probably alcohol. But Jim was crazy nonetheless. He really could have died any which way. Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I wouldn't even be surprised if the CIA went out and killed him. I really wouldn't be surprised.
Pretend you're f***ing everybody in the world. You know, yourself, you know. Just f*** them.
I think I'll open a little shop. A little place where they sell things, and I think I'll call it Grasshopper. I'll have a big green grasshopper out there. Have you seen my grasshopper, Mama? Looking real good.
Sure, he was controversial. Like at a show in Miami, he flashed himself. Although, was that really controversial? Was he ahead of his time? Honestly, in that sense. But nonetheless, it's something Albert might have been getting at. Someone who completely existed as a rebellion and achieved ultimate freedom in a way. There's stories about the rest of the band going to Jim's apartment because he was late for his show, and he's just got LSD tablets kind of strung up on his apartment roof. Like, the man was completely a rebel, probably even more than most of us would feel comfortable being a rebel, but that's how Jim wanted to live his life. He was authentic in that regard. Whether you like the Doors music or not, Jim was Jim, and there was nothing gonna stop him from being Jim, or Mr. Mojo Rising for you diehard fans out there. And at the least, that's honorable, you know. No one told him what to do. He lived his life the way that he wanted to. And this is sort of off topic for the video, but I do think that that's missing in today's age. It could be me being a bit too critical, but I think there is some authenticity lacking today.
Let's face it, we are not creating within a vacuum, right?
And if you don't believe that, I'll give you my latest philanthropic sonata. And the landlord's family was amazed.
While we don't all have the means of a rock star, a mega famous one at that, like Jim, we can get a sort of benchmark to look for, a role model, if you will, in the sense of living in an unfree world. And I haven't really gone into that as much this video, but whether you're a right-leaning person, a left-leaning person, a centrist, whoever, I think in one way or another you could point to how the world is unfree. Especially in today's day and age. You know, we're prisoners of our phones and things of that nature. You know, someone I'm close to brought up a really good point the other day of how when you watch a YouTube video, a company forces themselves into your mind for at least a few seconds at a time, and that's pretty crazy. So in that sense, I would say it's pretty much confirmed, you know, Illuminati confirmed that we're in an unfree world. Nonetheless, that's not what this video is about. It's not about proving whether we're free or unfree. But yeah, aside from that little tangent, we do see Jim as an example of how to achieve freedom in an unfree world, and it's through that rebellion. And I'm not hoping to like incite any chaos or anything with this video. We're looking at rebellion as a form of authenticity here. I hope that doesn't really go unseen. And yes, Jim And yes, Jim did have his vices, like I said earlier with the booze. It might have killed him. But nonetheless, I'm sure Jim lived his life the way that he wanted to. And when it comes to, chemical and addictions, they're really hard to beat. I don't necessarily blame him for that at all. And so yeah, that's what this video is. It's an offer into the insight of Camus' Perfect Rebel. And we have Jim Morrison to look at, among many others, but I do think that Jim stands out. Jim's existence was nothing but rebellion, from what we get to look at least. And invincibility doesn't mean this unemotional, invulnerable person that can't get hurt or anything along those lines. No, it means being who you are no matter what. That's invincibility in today's modern age. Never changing, and that's invincibility. You don't bend for anyone but yourself. Again, that's who Jim was. Always remembering that your life is yours and nobody else's. You don't do anything for anyone else. You are you at the end of the day. And that's how you achieve invincibility, or perhaps peace of mind. And I'd like to read off some of Jim's poetry, because I shouldn't mention Jim without mentioning his poetry. It's from a song called... I'm gonna have to look that up real quick. I'd like to read off a piece of Jim's poetry, as he was more than a musician, he was a poet as well, among a writer, whatever you want to say. But it's from Go Song, and it goes like this. Awake. Shake dreams from your pretty hair, my pretty child, my sweet one. Choose the day, and choose the sign of your day, the day's divinity, first thing you see. That's powerful to me. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment. Let's get some discourse started down below. And yeah, peace and love, mother.